Hello, everyone. It's Butter, and welcome back. This is Eve to Engines episode 3. We are making tools today. This is all about tools. So let's get started. So last episode, we started making steel tools. We made an axe, and I also made a shovel, which is over by the well, over this way. But we're gonna finish making all the different tools that are available in OHOL, all the different steel tools, which we do by heating up our steel once we light our forge, placing the steel on the flat rock, and then we hit it with our hammer. So I'm gonna make a hoe, a chisel, and an adze to start. So we click here, then on our flat rock, and I like to just get all of them nice and hot. We can click them all once. And we've got hoes. When we click them twice, we get a chisel, and we get an adze. Nice. So the hoe and the adze, those are going to need some long handles. Just like the axe and shovel. And the chisel doesn't need a handle. You just use it on rocks or various other items that you can chisel. All right, so that's those two. Easy enough. And the other thing I'm going to be doing this episode is going over all the different uses for tools, because it's not really going to take too long to create all these things, but what they're used for, it's pretty useful when it comes to smithing. I'm going to try and get all these tools, and then we'll make a cart. And I'll also show you how to make a bucket so you can upgrade your well, or a stanchion kit so you can upgrade your well. All right, now next. Ooh, that one cooled off, but you can just reheat it if you're quick. We're gonna make a froe, file, and a blade blank. So the froe needs a handle. That one takes a short shaft. So it's just 2 clicks on the branch instead of 1. We can add that to our froe. And the file needs some special treatment. So we'll get to that. We'll get back to the file. Actually, I'll put it in my pack. We'll get back to the file once I've finished making the rest of the tools. And we're actually going to need quite a few blades to make all the different tools that we want to make today. We're going to need 4 blade blanks in total. So I'm actually going to get one more flat rock. I think there should be some over here, just so that I don't have to light the fire again. Here's one. This way I can do 4 tools at once, because they won't the fire will go out pretty quickly. So all right, so we got our 4 ingots ready, hammers ready. So we're gonna heat these up, and we're gonna make 3 more blade blanks and a pickaxe. We're skipping axe and shovel because we already made those. And I probably should have lit this charcoal last time so that it was ready. That's on me. So the first tool that I want to show you how to use is this adze. This thing, in the early game, the first thing you're really going to want it for is making one of these, a mallet. This is what lets you use the Froe, and you also need it to use with the chisel when you're dealing with the big rocks. So that's really a useful thing. And if you use this aids on it again, it makes a shoe. I already have very nice boots, so I don't need to make any shoes. But just so you know, you can do that. And once it starts getting cracked, the mallet, that's what I usually do. I like to make a shoe out of it once it starts getting cracked rather than just letting it break. All right. So now we can put our charcoal in here. And this time, let's do it right. Let's light up this fire. And now there's going to be charcoal ready for us next time that we want it. Yeah, that'll be very nice. So let's quickly heat these up. And you have to be pretty fast if you want to get them all on time. But the nice thing is, once you start hitting them, they won't cool down for a bit. So that gives you a little bit more time. And that is all of the steel that we have to smith to make all the different tools that we want. I'm just going to make a little more charcoal here. It's always a good habit just to keep these stocked on charcoal. That way when somebody comes in and they need a tool and they need it fast, they can just put the bellows on and they can make their tool. All right. That's basically all the tools finished. We need a handle for our pickaxe. And we need to finish this file. So I've got a bow already, but I want to show you how to make it just so that you guys know how to do that. What you need to make a bow is a U-shaft and a rope. So this is the U-shaft, and you get that just by using a sharp stone on a U branch. So this is the U tree, the pale one. So it's like getting these branches. It's the same thing. And you can chop this up for kindling too. So that's how you make a bow. But we also need an arrow. And the reason we need an arrow is because we need a greasy goose to oil our file. So for the arrow, we're going to need string. We need to make a tied skewer. And we're going to need a flint arrowhead and some goose feathers. So let me you have to take the egg off first, because there's a goose pond with an egg, and then it's a goose pond. Then you click on it, and you'll bother the goose. He'll go in the pond, and you'll leave his feather. To make your fletchings for your arrow, you need a flint chip, and you just use that on your goose feather. That'll be your fletchings for your arrow. Now we've got a skewer back over home, but I don't think you can use a weak skewer. Oh, you can use a weak skewer. Nice. So we'll use a weak skewer, and then you can put the arrowhead on first, or you can put the fletching on first. It doesn't matter the order. It's one of the few things that doesn't care about the order that you do it. Most things, they want a very certain order. So to make this flint arrowhead, we're going to use a sharp stone on the flint. There, now we've got our flint arrowhead. We can put that on our headless arrow. We've got an arrow. All right, we'll take our bow, and we'll go get that goose. I'm going to pick the one that I bothered earlier, this one here. As long as they've got an egg, the pond will actually slowly refill over time. So if you can leave the eggs, you know, that's nice, but omelets are also very tasty, so nothing wrong with a good omelet. Okay, and I used my flint to make the arrowhead, but flint is pretty common. You can find it a little more rare in this green biome, but then it's pretty common in the Badlands. So you just get a flint, and you can skin up your goose. Easy. And we cook him, we can cook it in the oven, just like this, if we have an oven, but we don't even have an oven yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to skewer him, and we are going to wait for this to go to coals. So we can cook him just like the rabbit. Once this is coals, you can cook him with a skewer. But if you don't have a skewer, you can't cook them on the coals. And if it is skewered, you can't cook it in the oven. So keep that in mind. You don't need the skewer to cook it in the oven, but you do if you're cooking it over an open fire like this. And let's get our file ready. And our chisel. So the chisel is needed if you want to make the file. And the file is what you need to make a knife. And it's also what you need to make a saw and shears. So now you have a goose. It's a nice greasy goose. And you can oil your file blank. So that's how you get a goose to make your first file. And once you've got it oiled, you can put your chisel on there. And then just use your smithing hammer. Ding, ding, ding. And you've got your steel file. This thing is great. This lets you make knives. And also lets you make saws. So to make a saw blade, you just use the file once more on the steel blade. Right click to switch. And file that steel blade. There we go. All right, things are starting to get a little bit more cluttered around the smithy here. So let's learn how to organize a little bit and make some different storage. Short shaft for the knife, 2 blades together, hammer it, and that's how you make your shears. These are what you need to make tree farms. So that's what you use these for, is making tree farms. You can click on any kind of tree to get a cutting, and then that can be planted in your soil. So we can take these, and if we get some soil, we can plant the little cutting out here right next to our smith and have some nice trees growing for us to get branches and kindling and all that good stuff. Oh, and you can also use them to shear sheep, but that's less important. All right, for the saw, we need one of these short curved branches. You've got to use your sharpstone on it, and then you can make your saw. This can make wooden discs. That's what we're going to use to make our bucket and to make little hand carts. So we'll saw up just 1 log is enough. That'll give us 2 wheels for our cart and a couple wheels that we can use to make buckets. And that'll be perfect. Now over here we've got our Froe. And this is how we make boards. So I'll show you how to use this Froe. That's the only thing you can do with the Froe is make boards. It's just a log splitting machine. But boards are very useful. You can use them for flooring, and you can use them to make buckets and make carts and all sorts of stuff like that. Now the knife has so many uses. There's no way I'd be able to go over them all, but it is very handy. You use it in cooking, you use it in crafting, you can use it to cut up rope. Almost anything you can use a flint for, you can use a knife for. So keep that in mind. Anything that you would use your flint for, the knife can also be used for that as well, including separating strings and rope. All right, so let's make a cart, because that's what we need to really start bringing in the resources and make this smithy go from, you know, just a couple furnaces in the woods to actually looking like a real smithy with storage and tools, places to keep all our nice toys. So you put a rope on your boards and that'll make a box. And then you can move that around. And if you want it to have wheels, we need to make a bow drill. Not a fire bow drill, but a bow drill. And for that, we need another flint arrowhead. Or so that's easy enough to make. We got plenty of flint around. And I've got a sharp stone right here. Boop. It's very tiny. You put that on your flint tip on your fire bow drill, and you've got a flint tip bow drill. And if you need to make your fire again, you can just take that off with a flint. So it's kind of dual purpose. You don't really need to have one of each. For yourself, if it's a big town, you might want to have one of each. But for yourself, you don't really need that. All right. So I am building a cart. And then another thing I want to show you guys is how to build a bucket, because you're going to need that to upgrade your well. So you take one of these wooden discs, and you don't need to put a hole in it. You don't need a hole in your bucket. Just add it to the boards, and then use another rope. And you've got town's first bucket. So a bucket by itself isn't enough to upgrade your well. What you need is a stanchion kit. So I'm going to show you guys how to make that. You use the aids, and it makes a fence kit. Now you can use this to build fences. I'll probably do a building tutorial where I show you guys how to do that. But the other thing you can use it for is to upgrade your well and to upgrade your iron mines. So here's my iron mine. And right now I haven't even started to dig into it yet. But once you dig this, it'll become a shallow iron pit, and eventually that'll all get dug out. You can use this stanchion kit to upgrade it. All right, you can also upgrade the well. I'll be upgrading the well and collecting some resources with my brand new cart. And I will see you all next time, where we will be getting rubber and going into the new coming age. Bye-bye.